What's going on, guys? I'm not usually in on a Sunday night, but it worked out that way. I'm in there tonight, and we've had a weekend to discuss. So I normally want to start. I always try to start. Somebody says, I got bad news and I got good news. I usually try to start with the bad news and get that out of the way first. In this case, it would be Ohio State. I'm not doing that. We're going to start with the good news. The Cavaliers. Oh, my gosh. All right, that was awesome. 115-111 winners over Boston. It was awesome that they won. It was awesome how they won. You know, they were down in the third quarter. It looked like, boy, that's it. Now it's 3 in a row, and what's going on? And they're now 0-2 against Celtics if they go on to lose this thing, and they put a stop to that. Donovan Mitchell, the great fourth quarter, 20 points in the fourth quarter. What I loved about the game, and I think most of you did too, aside from the fact they won, was the way they put it away late at the free throw line. You know, how many times do you see a team get tested like that, and eventually they start to miss free throws? And they didn't need 1 or 2. They needed 10. They needed 10 free throws. If they get 9 of 10, which 90% would be an excellent percentage, they might not win that game. They needed all 10, and they got them. Mitchell went 4 for 4. Garland 4 for 4. George Niang found himself at the line on that weird inbound. He did a great job going up, pulling it down. He got to the line. He hit 2 that they had to have. And that was awesome to see. 35 points. They overcome a 35-point third quarter out of Boston with a 43-point fourth quarter of their own. And the Cavs put that thing away. That's awesome. That was needed that after the Ohio State game. Buckeyes. So here's my thing on Ryan Day. I have long said for the last few years that Ryan Day is not John Cooper, because to me there was no evidence that he was. And you might say, well, wait a minute, he lost all those games to Michigan. He lost games to Michigan when Michigan was highly ranked and national championship caliber, right? They were top 3, 4, 5 teams every year. And okay, you know, eventually that program was going to get right. And you're not going to beat them all the time. So, you still don't like losing to them. But those weren't the games John Cooper lost. John Cooper didn't lose to those types of Michigan. John Cooper lost the types of games that we saw Ryan Day lose on Saturday. That was a John Cooper loss. You are number 2 in the country. You have a chance to win the national championship. And in comes a pretty average 6-5 unranked Michigan team, and they just smacked you in the mouth. That is a John Cooper loss. And so you can't, the evidence now to say, well, he's not John Cooper. Oh, no. Now there's evidence. That was completely, ridiculously, embarrassingly pathetic. And to do it at home. You know, listen, you're not going to beat that team every time, right? It was amazing what we saw with Tress and Herb, where they lost like twice in like 15, 16, 17 years, whatever it was. Tressel lost once. Herb never lost to him. Fickle lost it as an interim head coach, and even that was close. But when they lost, those 2 losses, one Fickle, one Tressel, they were in Michigan. Again, that's going to happen. If you're going to lose there. Don't let them come into Ohio Stadium and win. They have now won 2 in a row in Ohio Stadium, and the one on Saturday was completely unacceptable, and Ryan Day deserves whatever he gets. I guess, you know, they can go make the playoffs, and he can go win the national championship. People are going to be angry. That's the deal. There are a lot of us that grew up through, and I was in my 20s, and others were kids, the John Cooper, I always call it the John Cooper era. 2-10-1. Many of us will never forget that. 2-10-1. People have wondered over the years, why do I hate Michigan so much? 2-10-1. You cannot let this keep going. If that's what you're going to get now, he's got to go, because they coached scared. They coached to lose the game. It's one thing if you get beat because they were just better than you. They got beat because they just didn't get their players in a position to win a game that they should have won. That was a very ordinary Michigan team. And Ryan Day gagged that thing away. The defense played fine. What are they supposed to do? The idiot Howard throws a pick and they're on the 2-yard line. I'm not the biggest Will Howard fan. Special teams, absolutely useless. Offense was useless. Just a completely unacceptable, puke-inducing afternoon at Ohio Stadium. Ryan Day deserves whatever he gets. If he gets fired, he deserves it. And I don't like firing a guy off one game. Okay. If you're going to fire a guy off one game, it's that one. I could go on and on and on and on, but I got to wrap this. And finally, got to mention the Monsters. 10-game winning streak came to an end Sunday, today in Grand Rapids, Michigan. You're not going to win forever. And I know a lot of people don't care. They're minor league. I get it. But they're fun, man. When they're going, that is a ride. And they're okay, now they're 10-1 in their last 11. They're a first place team. Let's see where it goes. Cavs kicking butt. Monsters doing well. I don't know what to think of the college football team. They just I can't even.